Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So leave it to California to take it to the absolute next level. California has introduced a bill that would effectively ban all new handguns starting in 2027. This is not a joke. We're talking about Senate Bill 452. Let's get into it. Now, real quick, before we get started, I noticed that more than half the people that watch these videos are not actually subscribed. If you are into knowing what's going on with your rights, if you want Second Amendment content on a daily basis in the form of news and reviews, hit that like button, little bell notification to let you know when new videos come out, and that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, but it helps me out quite a bit. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. So I'm sure by now you've all heard about the California handgun roster and some of the requirements that are necessary to get on that roster. One of those requirements is going to be micro-stamping. Now, micro-stamping pretty much doesn't exist on anything, especially in the way that California wants it to exist, so nothing new has been added to that roster, and that's why we have multiple lawsuits that are fighting to overturn the roster in general, right? Now, the roster with that micro-stamping requirement is basically a freeze on anything new. Everything that is already on the roster and just stays the same way so the models don't change is allowed to stay on the roster, giving people of California some options. While they're limited, there are at least some options that they can get that don't have that micro-stamp requirement, and they're not imposed on those older models, right? Well, California said, you know what, that's not good enough. What we want to do is we want to make sure that everything has a micro-stamp. So starting in 2027, if 452 were to pass, everything that is sold in the state of California, everything new that's brought in and everything that would be sold must have micro-stamping, which basically eliminates the roster altogether and everything that would already be on the roster and would require micro-stamping for anything new to be entering into the state. Okay, so here's how the bill reads as amended. This bill would prohibit, commencing on January 1st, 2027, a licensed firearms dealer from selling, offering for sale, exchanging, giving, transferring, or delivering a semi-automatic pistol as defined unless the pistol has been verified as a micro-stamping enabled pistol. The bill would also prohibit a person from modifying a micro-stamping enabled pistol or micro-stamping component with the intent to prevent the production of a micro-stamp by creating new crimes. This bill would impose a state-mandated local program. And as you can see here, I'm not sure why there's a date discrepancy or what they plan to accomplish between the dates of January 1st, 2027 and July 1st, 2027, but the penal code is going to be 27533. Now, saying that by 2027 they must have micro-stamping is pretty much the same as saying that by 2027 they must have a button that allows you to move backward in time 1 minute. It simply does not exist. It's not going to exist in 2027. It's just not a viable option. And so it's pretty much an outright ban at that point, notwithstanding the fact that two separate federal judges just recently found that micro-stamping as one of the provisions of the UHA is unconstitutional. You are not allowed to have that provision. They also said that the LCI and the MDM were also unconstitutional as well. Again, two separate federal judges already found micro-stamping as unconstitutional. So what do we have here? We basically have a massive grab. What they're doing is, again, pitching a fit. They're upset with, these judges that are siding with the Constitution. They're upset with that. And so what they've decided to do is to take it to the next step. Just like they did after Bruin with the Supreme Court, they decided to take that, carry law to the next step as well. That's what they do every single time. They get unhappy and they go to the next level, and that's what California is trying to do here with SB 452. Would this stand up in court? Absolutely not. In no way, shape, or form. There is no way that this would stand up. Does it have a chance of passing? In California, you can't say no. You just can't say no. They have a super majority. They control pretty much everything. They control the governor's office and so forth. And so if they want something passed, they just simply do it, right? And it gets tied up in court for years and it just goes on like that. So again, while it's far-fetched, it's out there for sure, I just wanted to make you guys aware that this is what they're trying to do. So if you guys want to read more about 452, I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to the legislation down below and you can read it for yourself. I want to thank all of you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.